of you, the story of you. The story of you, the story of you.
Okay, story of you. So that's the theme of all of this, teachings, the internal arts, the story of you. We are learning how to really utilize the gift that was given to us, this God-given beautiful gift of a mind and body, of a spirit, a soul, and how we can participate in the world of creation, um, this incredible creation that Creator created. We are here getting to experience, getting to live and breathe and have our being in the midst of this amazingness. Uh, and so, we're not meant to suffer our way through life. We're meant to enjoy and to create and to be beautiful beings. And we all have that potential within us, and it just needs to be nurtured. And so I'm here to nurture, to teach, to hold the space for all of us to really reflect on this beauty that we have within, and to be able to support each other in actualizing that potential. Not just thinking about it, reading about it, knowing about it, but to be able to have higher level experiences, not only within ourselves, but also with each other. To really be beyond a third dimensional person, be able to be a fourth dimensional heart based being, be able to be a fifth dimensional being who is really understanding the unity consciousness and bringing some of the inspired gifts to this planet, being able to access, even sixth dimensional awareness, seeing into the higher dimensions of reality, and being able to participate and play at a level of mastery, um, you know. And this is where all of these amazing feats by great masters, we hear of miracles and being able to have mastery over the elements, being able to materialize something out of sheer will and consciousness. So, all right, so nice to be here with you all tonight. Um, let's dive into some deep breaths. So, if you're, not sure where you're positioned, I can't see anybody, but just make sure that you're sitting up with a tall spine. You're comfortable, and that your body's able to be kind of open for breath. So let's just start with some deep breaths. We're going to breathe in and out through our nose. If your nose is clogged, that's okay. You can breathe through your mouth, but try to breathe through your nose if you can. And breathe in through the nose and all the way down into the belly. So as you breathe into your belly, this is called a diaphragmatic breath. This is the healthiest and strongest way to breathe, to really create the most optimal situation, condition for your body and mind and nervous system. So boosting your immune system, building internal energy, relaxing, mental clarity, emotional balance, physical vitality, all of these things are a result of these deep rhythmic belly breaths. So together, let's take a breath in through the nose and all the way down into the belly. I like to place one of my hands, it doesn't matter which one, over the belly so you can feel the belly expand on the inhale. And on the exhale, squeezing the belly up and in. Inhale, expanding. Exhale, contracting. Relax your body, your face, your eyes. Inhale, expanding the belly and diaphragm. Exhaling, squeezing belly and diaphragm up and in. Inhale, expand. Exhale, contract. Expand. And contract. Now as the breath warms up, feel that the breath expands bigger and fuller. stretch your body, your diaphragm, your rib cage, your belly, everything stretching open with the breath. You feel the volume of breath in your lungs opening up. And then exhale, squeeze, belly, pelvic floor, rib cage squeezing into center. Inhale, expanding. Exhale, contracting. Expanding. Contracting. Keep going, rhythmic breaths. Expanding on the inhale, contracting with the exhale. Each breath is nourishing and nurturing your entire mind-body system. Each breath filling you with life force, with a charge of electricity, of pure life vitality. Keep breathing powerfully, rhythmically, all the way in, all the way out. Squeeze and wring out the exhale. This is very stimulating to your whole system. You're wringing out your organs, your glands, you're tonifying the musculature. Inhale, soften, expand. Exhale, squeeze. Empty all the way out. Feel your core squeezing just below the navel. Inhale, expand. Soften, allow your body to open up to receive even more vitality, even more breath and energy. Everything soft, face, neck, eyes, and shoulders, opening all the way up, expanding. Exhale, squeezing. If you ever get tension or pressure in your head, gather your saliva and swallow. Swallowing the saliva and the pressure down into your belly. This will help if you start feeling like a headache or a pressure in your head. Just swallow a few times and then continue. It's normal for the energy to start stimulating and moving up. You swallow it down. It's very healing. Keep going. This is one way to just clear some excessive energy from your head and move it down into the belly. You can swallow several times if needed. And then continue, rhythmic, rich breaths all the way in. Feel your belly stretch all the way out. That means your diaphragm is drawing down, and that's what you want. You want the diaphragm to draw down. As it does, it pushes the belly out. So this is very healthy to allow the fascia to stretch and open up. This helps your nervous system to release its tension, its stress, its wound up charge. So deep diaphragmatic breathing where your diaphragm stretches, it softens the nervous system, allows the adrenaline release to calm down, and your system begins to go into a parasympathetic state or relaxation response. So keep going, rhythmic inhales, filling all the way up. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. In. Out. Allow your body to adjust itself however it needs to in order to allow the maximum breath to come in and the maximum exhale to squeeze and wring everything out. You can adjust the way you're sitting. If you need to Scoot to the front edge of your chair if you need to put a cushion. But make sure your body feels like it's in a neutral position. Shoulders balanced over the hips, head balanced over the shoulders. The spine is in alignment with gravity, but no tension in the joints. The joints are soft and open. The hands and feet are relaxed. The face and eyes are relaxed and at ease. Sometimes we don't realize we're clenching our eyes, we're making a kind of grimace on our face. See if you can notice and let all of the energy in your body become soft and open. Keep breathing rhythmic, powerful breaths. We're pumping the breath in and out. By doing this, we build an internal charge of energy, which will give us more mental focus and a calmer, quieter, more receptive state of mind to gather around the wisdom teachings, to connect together, and to hold this beautiful sacred space. So let's continue. Rhythmic inhale, stretching the belly, the diaphragm, the rib cage. Exhaling, squeezing pelvic floor, lower belly, and sinking the chest and rib cage. Emptying all the way, squeezing and wringing it out. Inhaling, expanding. Exhaling, squeezing. That's normal to feel a little tingly, a little lightheaded. At the beginning, you start stimulating the waters of the body so you get more saliva. You just keep swallowing it down. This is a very good means you're activated. You're turned on. Not sexually, but energetically. Your system is turning on. It's activating. It gets all of the energy, the fluids, the blood, the lymph. It gets everything to dilate, to open. And this is an important skill to learn how to activate your system. All right, so keep going. Rhythmic inhales and exhales. Just in this one simple technique, there are profound results, profound realizations and teachings, all kinds of things here for us if we just stay steady, simple-minded, simple focus. Remember, if you have pressure in your head, be sensitive to it. Swallow the saliva several times in order to clear any pressure that may be going up into your head. And then just continue. Because we're pumping our body with breath, we're inhale expanding, which creates internal pressure, exhale squeezing, which creates another type of pressure. And so the pressure is massaging the internal organs, including, of course, the digestive tract, the stomach. And so you sometimes will release trapped gases from the system, which is very healthy. In both yoga and qigong, you want to release the gases. So, of course, politely, discreetly as you can, but if you need to belch, letting that energy out, it makes, I'll explain later what's called the 3 enemies of the yogi, but mucus, bile, and gas is one energy that's, let's say, humor that can stagnate the resonance of our energy and the flow of our energy. And so very good to release trapped gases. If you do this type of breathing before bed, it's a great way, of course, to release a lot of the gases from your system and put your system into a very healing and activated open state. So when you go into rest, you rest deeply, you release the tension from the nervous system, and you're able to go into a very peaceful, restful space. So this is a wonderful way, especially if you ever have trouble sleeping. Instead of going to bed with a full belly or a bloated belly, to be able to breathe powerfully and just massage the internal organs enough to help assist your body at moving the stagnation. Okay, you can allow your breathing to slow down, and we're going to sit for a few moments with an inner smile. Feel the radiant energy you've created through your breath, and just smile that light and energy into all of the cells of your body. Smile into your organs, your glands. Smile into your whole aura. Feel that that smile energy is lighting you up from the inside out. And you just feel this happiness, that natural, spontaneous quality of a smile. Just feel that. Imagine what that feels like. Remember what that feels like. And rest in that internal smile, radiating that light and peaceful energy within and all around. Okay, we're going to take a nice big full breath in. On the exhale, I want you to let out a long sigh of relief. So we're just venting some energy from the heart. So it sounds like the ha sound. Big inhale. Good, and again. All right, just taking a moment if you need to have a sip of water. All right, excellent, excellent. So breath work is one of the most powerful tools for us to utilize in our life. And, really we're breathing all day long, but the more conscious we can become of our breath and the quality of our breath, the breath is an intermediary. The energy, the breath, the nervous system are all completely intertwined. Now, our breath and the energy are the link between the body and the mind, and between the mind and the spirit. And so when we breathe and we cultivate this energy, when we are able to work with our breath, we can cultivate different states of consciousness. We can also build the vitality that we need to really unify the field within us. Energy it can increase in power or potency, or it can decrease and weaken. So when you build internal energy through breath work, your battery is more charged. You have more power. So the power creates coherence. Coherence is where everything is in harmony and running smoothly. So your body, your emotions, your mind, and your spirit can all be in this beautiful alignment where you're awakened at all levels and everything's running in harmony. When that energy diminishes or weakens, then we start to get scattered. And that's what we call being ungrounded. But we can get ungrounded physically, emotionally, mentally, or spiritually. And so the foundation is energy. So we build internal energy through breath work. It is the most direct way that you can build your internal energy. And so, all right, let's see, where do we want to start tonight? Okay, so a couple of things. I had mentioned in the breath exercise we did about the three enemies of the yogi, and I said that the three enemies of the yogi are mucus, bile, and gas. Now, a yogi is someone who's on a quest of expanding their consciousness, a quest of understanding themselves, understanding the universe, understanding humanity or consciousness and consciousness, understanding source or God or spirit. And so this quest of enlightenment, this quest of self-discovery, um, and so all of the things that it takes to elevate ourself to those states of awareness are different tools and techniques to fine-tune our mind and body. Um, Foundationally, fundamentally, we are a soul being. We are a divine being. And so at the very depth and core of our being, we're already whole and complete. We're already uh, enlightened. And so that light is the very spark that is our center. Now, our mind and body are subject to conditioning. And so we work on the mind and body. We work on the character, the personality. We work on the programming. Um, by fine-tuning the lower vehicle, then we're able to hold the resonance of our higher self. And so ultimately, that is closing the gap of separation. Yoga means to join together, to unite. So closing the gap of separation between the higher self and the lower self. And so how beautiful is that? Well, like if a guitar master, most talented guitar master, picks up their guitar, they before they play, before the most beautiful song, they're going to sit there and they're going to tweak the strings. They're going to tune the instrument. And so all of these techniques that we learn with the internal arts are different ways of tuning your instrument. Your mind body is an instrument. Hafiz, famous poet, said, "I am but a hole in the flute that the Christ breath blows through." And it's another way of saying that if we, can tune our mind body, then the divine music, the divine essence, the divine qualities flow through us as an instrument of the divine. And so how beautiful is that, right? Very, very sweet. So mucus, bile, and gas. These are things that will dampen our resonance. There's something called a field effect. So we have an aura, okay? Most of us have seen pictures of the aura. I believe, let me see here, I believe I have pictures. Let's see if I can pull up the slides in here somewhere. Okay. See, I think you guys can see this in Zoom. So I'm not sure if you can see that in Zoom or not, but anyway, I was pulling up a picture of Alex Gray's visionary art, and it shows the aura. And so the energy field, we're going to just call as referencing as the field. So the field, personal energy field, or I like to call also the personal atmosphere. So you have this personal atmosphere or field. Now, if you've ever seen cymatics, this is like where they will vibrate sand on a plate. And by doing that, the sand will organize itself into different geometric structures. They also can do it by vibrating particles in water, so it becomes three-dimensional instead of two-dimensional. But anyhow, the whole idea is that different frequencies create different geometry. Now, when you're resonating with at different, frequencies, like frequency is like how slow or how fast, or the tone of your field. So what I'm trying to say is that when you have a higher resonance, that you create a more complex geometry in your field, which then opens up different parts of consciousness. So These more complex geometries and the higher resonances open up different parts of your consciousness, and you're able to have a direct awareness of higher planes of consciousness, higher knowingness, a higher ability to source. And so resonance is the key. So if you were to, vibrate like a drum, if you hit let's say a gong. So we strike a gong, but if we had a pillow placed on the gong and we strike it, it'll still resonate a little bit, but not for as long and not as much. So that is called dampening the resonance. So if we're eating heavy, dense food constantly, that's dampening the vibration of our field. If we have mucus build up inside of our body, maybe we're eating too much mucus forming foods, a lot of, acidic foods, dairy, sugar. There's a whole bunch. I'm not going to go into the whole nutritional component of it, but things that form mucus in your body, and that mucus builds up and it creates pockets of mucus that end up creating biofilms, and it locks in and it creates these dampening spots. And that's where disease festers and actually takes root in your body, is anywhere that you have mucus stored up, built up. But even when you're stuffed up here in your sinuses, a lot of this sinus being clogged actually comes from your stomach, or not just your stomach, but your digestive system being stopped up. So when you have a lot of dampening in your, abdominal area, the channels that power your nostrils, they're called Ida and Pingala Nadi, and they actually come down here and start from the belly. So if they get stopped up here, the energy is not making it up here to expand your sinus area and allow you to breathe more powerful, rich breaths. So mucus is something that you want to try and eliminate from your system, because you'll have a higher resonance, a deeper breath, more energy, more resonance, all that stuff. So then we have bile, which is like if you're eating too much acidic stuff, gallbladder produces bile, and that's where if you have too much acid in your body, you get inflammation, acidosis, you feel uncomfortable, nothing quite satisfies you, you're always hungry. Eating an alkaline diet is much more soothing, calming to the whole system. So when you eat alkaline and you stay away from foods that are creating too much acid, of course some acid's okay, but we want to keep a pH balance. If you go acidic, then your body feels like it's burning up. It makes you more ornery. Your nervous system feels kind of like overstimulated. So we're talking about resonance in the body, and things that are too acidic are going to also create different types of problems. But inflammation is like swelling inside, and when it swells up, it kind of blocks the flow of blood, lymph, and energy, and that is another dampener to the system, so your resonance won't be as high. And the third one was gas. And so typically when you're combining the wrong foods, or you're eating sugar after protein, or things like that, that's another one. So that can basically stop up different areas and create a type of a dampening in the system. So it's pretty interesting to look at, that we are energetic beings, and that we really want to be able to resonate. We want our field to be able to resonate, and just looking at if we're doing too many things that are dampening the energy down, it's so important for us to start to eliminate those and clean up the system so that we can resonate at a higher level. We feel better, we feel clearer, we have less brain fog, we are able to recover from everything. So, all right, I'm going to leave that lesson alone for now. That was just something I wanted to mention. Now, we're going to do some more practice tonight, but I'd like to just talk a bit more and share some beautiful philosophy. Now, we are in polarizing times in the world. There's a lot of issues, there's a lot of opinions, and it's beautiful that everyone can express themselves. And we're all different. We all think different, feel different, have different experiences in life. And so, for us to give each other the freedom to be different, and it's okay that we can agree to disagree. Like, we can still be friends and have differences of opinions. Now, some people, they feel one way about, political things or whatever, and they don't even want to be friends with somebody who might have a difference of opinion. And so, those become obstacles for us in the path of unifying our consciousness. So, unity consciousness is spiritual consciousness. It's intelligence, it's love, it's peace. All of the good qualities that come from our very center uh, require us to stand in the non duality. Require us, because as soon as we become dualized, there is fear. And fear leads us to doing all kinds of things that are out of alignment with our center. And so we are an all inclusive being. Not this mind and body. This mind and body is limited, right? But the consciousness, the awareness that flows through us is all inclusive. So, all inclusive means that even the people that you think are terrible, they've done horrible things, all of our opinions about stuff, whether good or bad, it's really all one consciousness being expressed in polarization. So whether someone is like a demon or they're like a saint, you know, ultimately there's one consciousness being expressed as everything that we know and will ever know, that ever has been, ever will be, is one consciousness. This is something that's very challenging for the mind to really grasp. Now, of course, we can talk about it, we can point at it, but it's something that through meditation, it starts to come more into your personal experience. You realize these truths directly through personal experience. Now, the all-inclusive is very important because it's okay as an individual to have your likes and dislikes, have your opinions, but there's a part of you that you want to access that's beyond all of those polarizations. So learning how to rest deep inside of that place within yourself then allows you to have peace and love and compassion. Because without that depth of your being, you're on the surface where everything's polarized and you're always going to be competing, comparing, always creating enemies, always creating more drama. And so, most of us who are overthinking, who are, typically in our left brain or, not cultivating energy, we get addicted to our drama. But learning how to go beyond the drama, then it puts the drama into perspective. So you're able to handle things without being so stressed out. And now we're going to talk about that a little bit. In the first episode, I covered the 8 limbs of Raja Yoga. Raja is royal, and yoga is a beautiful systematic path of self-actualization. So we had talked about yamas and niyamas. These are, and I'll just cover this briefly in case you didn't see episode 1. I do have it posted on YouTube, and you can go back and check it out. But yamas and niyamas are like ways of taking care of yourself, ways of keeping yourself clean and healthy, and managing your energy consciously. But so yamas and then niyamas are social observations, we could say, or like guidelines of how you should interact socially as to not create more drama, more issues, more unsettled energy within yourself. A way of creating a harmony, so personal care and then a way of interacting with the world. So those are the first 2 steps, and these are in yoga we don't call them like the commandments, but they're more of a guideline of how to really walk a good disciplined path. and to, that's setting you up for success if you're following those. Otherwise, you're going to run into some issues. So the next limb, so those are the first two limbs. The next limb, the third one, is asana, which is postures. Um, the postures are helping your body to release tension, your nervous system to release tension, you're strengthening, toning, you're activating the lines of energy, you're, grounding your awareness into the moment. There's so many things that are happening through doing the asanas or posture practice, but I'm not going to cover all of that right now. The next limb is pranayama, which is breath, not only breath work, it's even more than that, but it's learning to utilize your breath and all of the potential within your breath to cultivate energy, to expand your consciousness, to use the breath as a tool to alter your state, in different ways. Then we have the turning the senses inward, pratyahara, learning how to withdraw from distractions and turning the attention inward. And then after that, it goes into samayama. And there's three main stages: dharana, dhyana, and samadhi. Contemplation, concentration, and meditative absorption. Now, we covered this in the first episode, so I'm not going to go back and elaborate on it. But now that brings me to the point where I want to talk about is the meditation we call empty meditation or full meditation. So in yoga terms, they call with seed or without seed. Now, the seed being like something you're planting in the field of consciousness and you're watering it with attention so it grows and expands. So whatever we meditate on, where our mind goes, our energy flows. So if we're focused on something, we put energy into it and it begins to expand and illuminate within our consciousness. So I want to start with talking about with seed. So the full meditation, as I'll refer to it now as full meditation. So full meditation is where you're meditating on something. Now there's, obviously an infinite amount of things in this universe that you could potentially hold your focus on. If you're playing a sport, you might be focusing on, keeping your eye on the ball, kind of, so to speak. If you're writing, you might be completely immersed in your story or the content of whatever you're writing. And there's different ways of, focusing our mind. But, of course, there's many different ways of applying this to any different area of our life. But the ability to concentrate and focus our mind, we use in a day in, day out basis. But I want to really go into it a little bit deeper here and understand the fundamentals of this practice. So meditating with seed means that there's something that you're focusing yourself on. Now, the samayama practice is a progression from contemplation to concentration to meditative absorption. Now, if we were using a mantra, all right, the mantra would become the focus of our the point, the seed, but our mind is using a tool. So a mantra is a tool. It could be a sound. It could be that, like a Sanskrit mantra that has specific meaning, like say Om. Om is a very good one. Most all of us have heard of. If we're meditating on Om, right? We're toning. At first, we might just be, getting into toning in a very specific way that feels resonant. And after a while, the effort starts to drop away. Our mind goes deeper. So we go from kind of the contemplation of the breath, the sound, the rhythm of doing it. And then we go deeper into expanding into that, the feeling of Om, or even contemplating a little bit of the meaning. Om is the primordial sound of the universe. It's the mother sound that holds all vibrational frequencies within it. So it's called, like, in the beginning was the Word, and the Word was with God. So this original word or sound, the Big Bang, was Om. And this original, from stillness, this vibration that began to just expand out and create entire creation. So this is the foundational tone of the universe. And so when we resonate this tone, we're unifying the field within us. So it's a way of sort of spiritually sounding off in order to get back into the unified field. And so such a beautiful tool or mantra that we can use And so by focusing intently on the meaning of Om, the intention behind what you're doing, the sound of it, and then we start going deeper and deeper into the resonance of it until the mind is merging with the tone and we're not really thinking anymore or contemplating, I should say. We're just in this concentration. And then after some time, we might not even do it physically with our mouth. We might just become silent and listen to Om with our mind, and we stay in that resonance, and we may merge completely with Om. And so that would be riding that wave, of Om back into center, into source. And so if you were using, now I'm going to switch it to applying the same technique, but to a breathing technique. Like we were doing earlier, we're breathing at first, we're making sure we're breathing through our nose and down to our belly. We feel the quality of the breath. We're expanding and contracting. All of this is contemplative meditation. But after some time, we build energy. The mind starts to become placid or quiet. We're able to still, though, our intention is on the breath. So there's still an active mind focusing on breath. And the mind starts to merge with the breath, and that can carry us into an expanded state. Now, there's many techniques that will create different experiences. But the point is that we have a left brain function and a right brain function. When we use our right brain, I'm going to go to the other side. I'm going to say when we're using our left brain in that way, we can call it solar. Solar, like hatha, means sun and moon. Or like in Taoism, yin and yang. So the yang is the masculine. The yang is the solar sun side, where the yin is the moon side, the feminine side. Now, the masculine side is assertive. It goes in like a straight line, right? So if we were to represent that masculine side would be a straight line. The feminine side would be more of a circle or a spiral. And so we think about that in terms of the way that male and female anatomy, sexual anatomy is set up. The male's a straight line, the woman's a circle. And so this yin and yang. Now, the yang mind is a straight line. So we're aiming the mind. We're aiming it in a direction, like an archer aiming an arrow. And so you send your mind in that direction, and you expand in that direction, one-pointed concentration. So this one-pointed is yang. This is a yang energy. And your ability to do that brings about great mental power and gifts. Now, if our heart only squeezed but didn't release or expand to refill, we would get one pump and the heart would stop. This would be like a heart attack where the heart seizes up. So the heart has to do is it has to squeeze and then it has to expand. The same way with our mind, we don't want to just always be hyper-focused on something. We want to also be able to release the mind, to let the mind completely go. And so this is the one that is more challenging for most of us because of the way we've been trained and educated. But learning to cultivate the yin state of mind, which we could say corresponds to the right brain. So this state, instead of being focused on a one thing, imagine you're allowing your awareness to open up to contain everything, but to think of nothing. You can become aware of everything. So if there's a sound in the room, let the sound be there, but don't think about it. Everything can be there. Everything has its place. You're not trying to control anything, you're just letting go. You're softening, you're relaxing, you're opening. This release is yin. This is the return of the sacred feminine. This is an important state for us to be able to refill ourselves, to open back up, to see the bigger picture, the grander view. Our awareness can get tunneled in, and we're only seeing one thing. When we want to be able to zoom out and see everything, we have to become receptive. So receptive is the quiet, empty, open mind. So in allowing your mind to become completely still, placid, open. So you have the awareness of everything, but you're thinking of nothing. This state is called a shunya, or no mind state. This is the empty meditation that I was talking of. So the full meditation is when you're focusing on something. And there's different degrees of that ability to focus. When we practice focusing, it strengthens our mental muscle. Now, I'm going to explain this as the same way they do in the Yoga Sutras. If I were focusing on point A, and my mind's going point A, like say point A is, I want to just focus on a candle flame, just to use something simple that we can use as an example. But I'm looking at the candle flame, and I'm looking at point A, point A, point A. I'm doing pretty good, point A. All of a sudden I think about, oh, I wonder if so-and-so texted me back. Now that was point B. So that was my mind wandering away from my intention or my focus point. I come back, point A, point A, point A. Wonder what I'm going to have for dinner later. Boom. Point C. Mind wandered away again. I bring it back. Point A. Point A. Okay, so by doing this exercise, by bringing your mind back and refocusing it, pretty soon you're able to hold point A for longer and longer and longer stretches of time. And eventually what happens is your concentration becomes focused. Nothing interrupts your concentration. Then concentration deepens by degrees, more and more powerful, the concentration. More and more of your whole being is being laser beamed into one single point of awareness, and all of your energy going in that direction. And eventually this opens up what's called samadhi, where you're completely merging effortlessly into the point that you were focusing on. And this is where miracles and magic and all kinds of beautiful things begin to happen. But this is the pinnacle of our mental strengthening, our ability to hold our mind one-pointed with full mastery, full concentration. And so that takes practice. Now we can see how these skills, by practicing, will lead us to be able to, kind of cross-train for other areas of our life. Say you're reading a book, you're reading the words, and you're looking and you're reading line by line. You might read 3 sentences and then your mind wanders off and you start thinking about something, but your eyes are still going, because we have first attention and second attention. Our second attention can be multitasking while our first attention is still reading, but at the end of reading that page, did you have full comprehension? Usually not. You have to go back and reread the page over. And so the more you are getting your mind in focus, you can read the entire page without distraction, and you comprehend all of it the first time. So you're highly focused. This makes you a better learner, better student, a better listener, better at everything that you do in your life. And that's just one example. So your ability to focus your mind is very important. But now let's talk about this. Let's say you had a conversation with someone that triggered you into a little bit of a negative emotional space. And you keep thinking about the conversation over and getting, triggered and feeling upset or emotional about it. So you want to be able to stop your mind from thinking about things that are causing you to become upset. It's not necessarily not dealing with an issue. It's not thinking thoughts that are unproductive. When we go into fear, doubt, and negativity, those thoughts are non-productive, and they start to play like a broken record, creating a negative emotional charge, and then creating a cascade of chemical and glandular secretions that are dissonant to our health, meaning that they take us out of balance, take us out of being fine-tuned. So whenever the mind is going in a direction that's not good for us, we want to be able to stop the mind. Now, it's not enough to just bulldoze over those thoughts. We want to be able to drop them, like to become still. So practicing empty meditation, practicing becoming still, then you can witness things without having a mental, emotional reaction to them. This gives you a real advantage in your life and your ability to then start to change the programming in the way that the mind is functioning. So you're developing these skills to be able to consciously, let's say, consciously, move through your life and be able to make strong choices, be able to recognize when something is dissonant in your mind and heart, something that you really don't want to generate thoughts that make you sick, that make you stressed out, that make you not sleep well at night. There's ways to deal with any given situation, but without going into a fear, doubt, negativity, stress, draining cycle. That's because that doesn't help anything to get better. Those are unconscious tendencies. So anyhow, I hope I portrayed that in a very clear and precise way about the empty meditation versus the full meditation. So just like your heart has to squeeze and has to release, and that creates a pumping, you want to be able to, expand your being and contract your being. Contracting is like being very grounded, very precise, laser beam, making a choice, doing the action. Expanding is opening up to be, relaxed, content, receptive for guidance, and coming from, instead of knowing and being so direct with the mind, to becoming not knowing and open to suggestion, to intuition, to subtlety. And so being able to expand and contract without resistance within your field is a level of self-mastery. So that's pretty cool stuff, right? So let's see where we want to go from here. I think it's time for us to do some more practice. Now, I'm going to guide you through a 4-part breathing. I want to teach you how to isolate the upper and lower areas of the body when you breathe. So when you breathe in through your nose, you want to expand your belly. Let me scoop back a little bit so you can actually see my body. All right, like that. Hopefully you can still hear me fine. But when you inhale, there's 4 parts. So the first 2 parts is the inhale and the second 2 parts is the exhale. But inhale 1 is all the way down into the belly like this. The belly expands with the breath pressure. Inhale 2 is up into the chest, lifting the rib cage up. You see my rib cage expand. Now exhale 1 is from the belly. Exhale 2 is from the ribs. So I'm going to go in, out, out. 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 In, out. Keep going. In, out, out. Breathing rhythmically, powerfully. You hear the kind of whistle or resonance behind the sound of my breath. So really breathe powerfully. Don't be afraid to make some noise with your breath. It's more about the field effect, the breath, the power of the breath, and the effects on your mind body. So let go of all of the rest of it and just powerfully soften your body and breathe rhythmically in, out, out. By now, you should be feeling some tingling in the palms of the hands, a kind of flushing of the skin, maybe kind of like a cold sweat or a heat or fire rising up in the body. Again, if you have saliva or pressure built up in your head or mouth, swallow all of that pressure and saliva down and then continue. Breathe powerfully, rhythmically, and build up the intensity. You don't have to strain. I don't want you to be rough with your sinuses or your lungs, but really try to find that edge where your power and your gentility are in balance. So, powerful and gentle, both at the same time. It's normal if you start getting some yawns. Yawning is a natural body response when your energy begins to expand. It's a natural way for you to take more energy into your heart and the upper energy centers. This is exercising the Udana Prana. So it's the energy that moves up from your heart, throat, mouth, and into your head. So this upward movement of the prana will start to create sometimes the yawning. And so just continuing. Rhythmic breaths. We can slow it down a little bit now, and I want you to emphasize the 4 different parts. So now synchronize with me. Inhale into your belly and hold. So you feel that your belly is stretching, but the ribs are still down. So let the rib cage and chest stay down, but the belly and diaphragm are expanded with the inhale. All right, so you have plenty of oxygen in your blood. Holding your breath for just a few moments takes a little bit of mental willpower. Now inhale up into the chest. All right, so now your belly and chest are full. Hold it. Relax your face, your neck, your shoulders, your eyes. Swallow down if you need to, but hold and retain your breath. This is a retention, internal breath retention, Antar Kumbhak. Holding, relaxing, softening. Now when we exhale, we're going to exhale the belly first, just the belly chamber. Exhale now, all the way. Squeezing your belly up and in, wringing it out. Hold it just for a moment, put some emphasis there. Now exhale from the chest. All of the rest of the breath, let the chest sink down and the belly squeeze in. You're emptying all the way. Now it's hard to hold the exhale, but hold it. This is an exercise, Bahir Kumbhak, external breath retention. Hold it. Relax the face, neck, shoulders, and eyes. Feel the inner body squeezing and trembling a little bit. Inhale to belly and hold. That's the first part. So I'll count them off. One. Second part, inhale to your chest. Hold. Inhale a little bigger. Belly and chest are full. Soften your face, neck, shoulders, and eyes. Swallow down. Third part, exhale belly. The belly is empty, pelvic floor, Mula Bandha, Uddiyana Bandha, Vajroli Mudra. So this is like pulling up on the pelvic floor, the reproductive organs, the sphincter muscle, lower belly, Uddiyana Bandha, pulling up and in, still holding. Exhale chest. Hold it, just stay empty. Inhale belly, one. Feel the pressure, feel the differentiation of breathing just down into the diaphragm and belly. Inhale, two. Feel the chest rise, lifting up. Middle ribs, upper ribs, everything lifting. Swallow down if needed. It's always good to gather the saliva, a lot of stimulation in the waters in the body. Swallowing down. This is called in Qigong the golden elixir. Holding. Inhale bigger. Maybe you can fit more in your belly, more in the middle ribs, more in the upper chest. Lift your elbows out to the side just a little and feel that you're breathing all the way up into the highest upper part of your rib cage. Exhale belly. 3. Hold it, squeezing pelvic floor, drawing up on all the musculature at the very base of the pelvis, at the lower belly, drawing up and in at the lower navel area, below the navel. This is very good for your transverse abdominis. This is called the girdling meridian. It holds your belly in, supports your back. Exhale chest. 4. Now squeeze the whole body empty. This may be really intense for you. Soften your mind. You can do it. Relax. Don't try too hard, but soften and squeeze. Inhale belly. Inhale chest. Exhale belly. Exhale chest. In. Out, out. 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 Now into the belly and hold. Soften your face, neck, shoulders, and eyes. Swallow down. Notice how it feels like a suspended animation. Inhale to the chest and hold. Allow your spine to lengthen and soften. It's normal to feel a little lightheaded, a little disoriented, a little dizzy. You're going into a more expanded state. The energy pressure is pushing into the deep areas of the brain and soft tissue. Maximum oxygenation. Exhale slowly. Squeeze the belly first, chest second. In. Filling all the way up. Out, out. In. Out, out. In. Out, out. Into the belly and hold. Relax, soften, swallow down. Into the belly a little bigger. Stretch your belly. Feel how the belly and lower back expand together. You can feel pressure around your kidneys as your breath pressure presses into the whole lower body and the abdominal area. Now inhale to the chest, expand your whole rib cage, lift the shoulders a little bit. Feel how your ribs expand. Keep the belly full as well. Everything full, stretching. As you hold, you might get a rush of energy. It expands through your whole body like a wave, pressing out into the feet, the hands, the face. A big breath, a big pressure, holding. Inhale a little more. Exhale slowly, squeeze belly first, chest second. Hold the exhale for a moment. Squeeze the pelvic floor. Now see if you press the tongue to the roof of the mouth. The very tip of your tongue, slide it up to the 12 o'clock upright position, like you're pressing it toward the center of your brain. Roll the eyes up to look up toward the center of the brain. Gently tuck your chin toward your chest. Swallow down. When you're ready, take a deep, full breath and relax. Just notice and sense the subtle sensations. Notice and sense the quality of your mind. Allow yourself to now go from this we call full meditation, where we were using techniques, into the empty space, the no mind state. It's okay if thoughts still come, but pay more attention to the space between the thoughts and allow your mind to include everything but think of nothing. The breath becomes softer and lighter, and sometimes as the breath stops, or the mind stops, the breath will also stop. It's okay if your breath stops. As we settle into the deep relaxation, the mind, the breath, everything stops. Allow your eyes to soften. We don't need to see anything. We're not looking through our eyelids. We're not trying to see any visions. Allow your eyes to withdraw back into center. Very good. We're only staying there for just a short while for learning purposes. These are introductory practices meant for you to practice on your own at home. And so just gently start to come back out of it. Take a deep breath. If you need to have a sip of water, we're going to come back. Ah. Now, the 4-part breathing is a really powerful way to reset your whole system. You break the patterns. Each of our mental emotional states has a breath signature. So when you really change the breathing pattern like that, you're resetting the whole field. It creates a powerful reset, a field effect. And it allows you to drop a lot of the momentum that we have normally in our thoughts and mind. So it creates an opening for you to be able to go deeper into yourself and rest in that no mind state. So of course we used the concentration in order to do the technique powerfully and stay focused on it. And then at the end, we used that as a launch point to enter no mind, to enter the void state or shunya state. Now, even if you didn't get it that time, I'm teaching you a method to practice so that you can get it. So, hopefully that was a beautiful experience for you. But even if it was hard and frustrating, just know that the technique is true and tried. It works. If it was hard or frustrating for you, that means you have work to do. It is for you to apply your willpower and to focus and to use your determination, your willpower to focus yourself, to strengthen your mind. And, we really need full range of motion. And I through the yoga and meditation and different communities, there's a lot of different approaches, techniques, philosophies, and some people really think, only of doing the full meditations, or, it's always a technique or visualization or this or that. And some, like Vipassana is like no technique, just sit and be quiet. And they both are very powerful, but it's like for our muscles, your muscle, like this simple bicep muscle right here. If I only stretched it, my arm would be very flexible, but it wouldn't be very strong. And after a while, it would actually start to hyperextend my joint and maybe even cause issue, hypermobility. Now, if I only lifted weights and I never stretched, my bicep might be huge, but I couldn't straighten my arm all the way out. And again, I would start getting tendonitis and having other joint issues. So it's only by using my arm in a full range of motion. I gotta stretch it and I gotta strengthen it. By doing both, the arm becomes very usable, very useful. I can do so many things with the arm because it has flexibility and strength. And so the same way with your consciousness, you want to have the flexibility of going into a no-mind state. Your intimacy, your creativity, your spiritual communion, your ability to recharge and rest and enjoy, and all of those things are all enhanced through being able to be in the no-mind state. And you reduce a tremendous amount of stress and tension from your system. But if all you did was relax and let go and, didn't use your left brain, your ability to apply yourself, your willpower, your focus, your determination, then you would be missing out on a lot of what life has to offer. So most of us are trained the opposite way, that, through school, that we have to have goals and push and always be, thinking 10 steps ahead of everybody and everything, every conversation. We're always trying to, be ahead and thinking. Well, that also leads to a disadvantage, because even if you're, an A-type personality, you're sharp in business, you make a lot of money, maybe it's hard for you to sleep at night. Maybe you struggle with intimacy in your relationships. Maybe, you know, your own mind is like torturing you because it just won't shut up, you know. So we want to be able to quiet the mind and become empty, become still, and be able to turn it on and turn it off, and use it as a powerful, uh, you know, tool, machine, computer that it is. But to never be able to let the mind drop away is an issue. Now, if your mind is always completely placid, you know, you're probably experiencing high levels of spiritual communion. But if you weren't able to ever focus yourself, you know, as an individual, you wouldn't be able to get very far in creating an individual life and existence. So there's a place, obviously, for both. But so you are an all-inclusive being, and it's important for you to exercise the full range of motion of your being. And you know, we all have the power to be, you know, good and make a positive impact on the world, and we all have the ability to be terrible and mess things up and hurt people and do all kinds of heinous things. And so, you know, it's wide open. But being able to be conscious with what kind of energy you're bringing, you know, you are creating yourself. You are, um, you know, a work of art. And so be masterful with the way that you paint your life and the types of energies that you pull from and source from. It's all wide open to us. Um, you know, within our body, we need to move our physical body in full range of motion. We need to move our breath in full range of motion. But we also need to be able to move our mind and consciousness in the full range of motion. But we are all inclusive beings. So, you know, as we go deeper into this path of self-discovery, meditation, breath work, you know, these aren't just concepts. It becomes your living experience, your living reality. And by living that reality, it leaves an impact. It has an effect on people around you, on nature, on you know, really by holding the higher resonance, the higher awareness, the higher um, you know, state. You're blessing everyone and everything. We are all sharing energy all the time. There's a huge collective field. And so doing work within yourself is having a massive effect on your family, your friends, your coworkers, and humanity or consciousness at large. So, so beautiful. You know, you really want to make a positive impact and difference. If you get yourself into a very deep state and have more understanding of yourself and more ability to focus and direct the way that your mind and energy are flowing, then that is going to result in blessing all of the people in the whole world around you. So this is you know, a beautiful pursuit, a pursuit of a personal happiness, but that spills over into, you know, life in general. So that's it for today's episode. This is Internal Arts Episode 2, lecture and practice series. Please join me again next week. I'm going to be here Thursday, 7:30 p.m. We'll go into you know, some more teaching, some more techniques. You know, each time, of course, there are fundamental things that will be repeated, but there's always going to be some beautiful nuggets. You know, I call them like we all have a, you know, a jigsaw puzzle, and that's like kind of our, you know, view of consciousness. And when we get different pieces, we start plugging those in, and we get a bigger picture. We have more of an understanding. So it's my goal to impart some of my understanding and some of the techniques and some of the beautiful teachings that were passed down to me to be able to share them. And so, aho, namaste, good night. Thank you so much. God bless you all. Take care.